well as warning us of the perils of climate change, the Green movement has also been very effective at warning us of the urgency of the problem. The clock is ticking. The Green consensus is that carbon emissions have to peak by around 2015 if we are to avoid the crucial 2-degree temperature rise, after which global warming could become uncontrolled. In short, we've got 6 years left. But if time is so short, surely we're going to have to take some risks if we want to save the world.
Justin Rowlatt. Well, I'm joined now by the UK Executive Director of Greenpeace, John Sovan, Chairman and Director of The Ecologist and Tory candidate for Richmond Park, Zac Goldsmith, and the leader of the Green Party of England and Wales, Caroline Lucas. And welcome to you all. Thanks for you're nodding. You agree with that? No point in having nuclear.
Yeah, look, I don't think nuclear, you can't address it as if it's a religious issue. It's a technology. The only question we have to ask ourselves is it the right technology for the problem that we are trying to address? And my answer every time has been no. And precisely on this last reason that Caroline's given. It is a matter of cost. There has never been a nuclear power plant ever constructed without the use of a lot of taxpayers' money, not one exception to that. Which means we have to decide, do we want to commit taxpayers' money to nuclear power, effectively propping up an old, mature technology, or should we use that money buying much bigger solutions along the lines of what actually both of these people have been suggesting, energy efficiency being absolutely the lowest of the low-hanging fruit. Look, the GM sector is very, very powerful. They're very good at generating press releases. They've been making wild promises, curing the blind, turning deserts into oases and growing crops without water and so on for many, many years. The reality is that almost all of their research has gone into finding mechanisms, ways of allowing them to consolidate their control over the food chain. That is what it's about, and I think it's very hard to argue that. As a result of that, one second.
That's not my point.
As a result, let me just finish this one point. As a result of their incredible power, they have managed to, in my view, compromise, possibly even corrupt the regulatory system, and the effect is that the market is racing ahead of the science, and that's the reason the vast majority, not just of environmentalists, but the general public are concerned. We want to trust the regulatory system. We want to know that the research is being done, and it isn't.
Extraordinary thing that if you take the mainstream progressive parties now, whether it's the Lib Dems, Labour, Conservative to a point, they are talking about trying out new measures. The Tories haven't ruled out nuclear power. The Tories haven't ruled out GM. And so it's now the Greens. You're meant to be the warriors that are looking like the roadblocks.
I don't think anyone is rolling it. I don't think anyone is actually, or very few people are ruling these things out. If you can demonstrate to me that spending a huge amount of taxpayers' money on nuclear power is going to genuinely contribute to solving this incredible problem, which dwarfs the problems associated with nuclear power, I'd embrace it. But I've seen nothing to convince me. Yeah. And actually, David King, who you just featured on this on your preamble, he himself has said that the only way nuclear will flourish in this country is if they have categorical assurances, cross-party, that nuclear will not face short-term competition.
And I think the interesting thing is the one thing that's made a real difference in the past year in terms of cutting carbon emissions has been the recession.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
Look, I mean, every problem presents an opportunity, and the recession has provided us with something of an opportunity. We know that we're going to emerge from it. We're already emerging from it. And with political leadership, which is key in my view, we could choose to emerge with a different type of economy, a cleaner, more efficient, more environmentally sensitive one. I think, just going back to your introduction, the market is absolutely fundamental. I don't think you can have a solution which doesn't involve the market. It is by far the most powerful force for change other than nature itself. But most environmental problems today, in fact, all the ones that I can think of, result from the fact that the market is blind to the value of the environment and doesn't recognise the cost of things that should have a cost. So I think the answer isn't to chuck out the market. We can't, even if we wanted to do that, we can't do that. The answer is to learn how to operate. It's a tool, the market. It's not our master, it's a tool. It's like a car. You know, a sensible person driving down the street is going to avoid banging into people. A drunk is going to cause mayhem. And unfortunately, the market has been driven by drunks, people willing to change.
Yes.
Look, I think this campaign 1010 will have an impact. I don't think it'll have an impact for the same reasons you think it'll have an impact, because I don't think we can ever persuade the critical mass, 6 billion people, to make those kinds of cuts. What it can do, and it is already doing, is showing politicians who have been pretty mediocre on these issues for a very long time that there is an appetite among the public for leadership. For me, the key is political leadership. That's the thing that will get us out of this mess.
So you accept, really, that you're just pressure groups. The Green Movement is never going to be anything more than a pressure group. You're never going to independently, really, bring people on board.
No, but what is the Green Movement? There are green businesses. There are big businesses like Marks and Spencer's with their Plan A, very ambitious green project. You've got small businesses, you've got green lobby groups, green PR groups.
We've got 1,200 of them already signed up for 1010.
There is no longer the Green Movement. You have green politicians. I would regard myself as a green politician.
They can carry on using flights and using their car.
Well, I've been doing this for 10, 15 years. I never told anyone to do anything because it's not my business to do that. I don't feel that I can do that. But I do tell people one thing, and that is we all have political power. We can all put pressure on our political leaders. One of the reasons politicians do very little is because they have very little imagination. But the truth is, almost everything that needs to be done is already being done somewhere. So
and
if you took best practice in every sector,
on your leader if you become a Conservative MP and disagree with him?
Well, I haven't had to so far, but if the Conservative Party went in a different direction, then of course I'd see as one of my responsibilities to up the ante and campaign harder on these issues. But there is an appetite in the party.